What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Eli, and I'm coming at you with a review of a book, and that book is Ready Player One. Now, this is for people who have not read the book. If you have, awesome. First of all, you want the quick review? If you like 80s, if you're nerdy, and you like action, go read it. Great book. That's as basic as the review can get. And if that's all you want, that's all you get. Get out of here, go read the book. Now, for those of you that have stayed, I'm going to talk about the book a little bit more and tell you what it's like. So let's do that. This book takes place in a futuristic, terrible place to live. There's war, famine, a gas crisis. Everything is going wrong. People have to live in these things called stacks, which are right next to me. Yep, right next to me is a picture of some of them on the front of the book. And basically it's just a bunch of trailers stacked on top of each other, and people have to live in these and climb up giant stacks of stairs, and they fall over all the time and people die and bad stuff happens. It's not a great place to live, but these people kind of escape this world by going into a different one called the Oasis. Now the Oasis is kind of like an MMO, but bigger and more people. It's basically a whole nother universe that you can travel through, except you need money to travel from planet to planet. It's completely free to use, but if you want to travel through the Oasis, you need money. And there's tons of planets and galaxies and sectors and stuff that allow you to do things like magic, combat, PvP, or none of the above. The Oasis started out as an MMO, but it's turned into this thing that people go to every day to go shopping, to hang out with their friends, even to go to school, which is where our main character goes. But if we backtrack a little bit, a couple years earlier, the creator of the Oasis dies, and all of the news feeds change to the announcement of his death. And this gets the main character, Wade Watts, a little off guard, because you don't usually hear something like that on the local news or anywhere. It's usually on a page on the internet that you have to read. Because usually the news sources are talking about things that are going on in the world that are terrible, like the war and disease and stuff like that. Now, the thing that's so special about the creator of the Oasis, James D. Halliday, dying is not really special, but what makes it national news is that he releases on his death a video, which is his will. And in his will, he states that whoever can find his gigantic Easter egg that uses 3 keys and 3 gates that you have to go through just to figure out the Easter egg, whoever can solve it can have his company and all of his money, which is billions of dollars. So you can imagine that a lot of people are gathering together, and some people are fighting with each other, some people are fighting against each other, and they're all trying to find these keys, trying to find the first key at least. And it goes on for even a couple of years before anybody finds the first one. Now, the thing about the video is that it was full of 80s references. And at the end of the video, Halliday released this thing called Halliday's Almanac. And it's basically a diary or a journal of everything that he grew up with and loved. And it's just basically a list of stuff for people to study. And this is what everybody does. And these people who search for the Easter egg and study this book and everything 80s are called Gunters. Now, on the other side, you have a company called IOI, who found a loophole in this video because Halliday never really put a disclosure in there saying a company couldn't find the Easter egg, you know? So what they do is they hire people to search for the Easter egg for them, and they get resources and they can use any in-game money that they need to find these Easter eggs. The Gunters call these people the Sixers, and they actively hunt out the Sixers and kill them and stuff. And it's really easy to do because they all look the same. Over the years, by the time it's about 2040-ish, our main character, Wade Watts, is a senior in high school, and he's almost done. But he's very poor. He lives in the stacks with his aunt and her family and her boyfriend, who, when they see something as simple as a laptop, they take it from him and they go pawn it, even though they use all of his food vouchers and everything that the government gives them for them taking care of Wade. So Wade has this kind of secret area set up in a place where a bunch of cars are stacked up and, just kind of thrown out because cars aren't needed anymore. And he goes here every day to go to school and to spend his day in the Oasis because there's nothing better to do. When Wade goes online, he suddenly becomes Parzival, his online character, his online name, somebody who he kind of wishes he was, who we all really wish we were when we go online. We always make a character, at least most of us do. This character is named Parzival, spelt with a Z, and his best friend in the game is H. He doesn't know H in real life, but they met in the Oasis, so they're pretty much brothers. And he will always go to H's basement to hang out, which is like a chat room. Now, H, on the other hand, is very rich in the Oasis. H fights in these battles that are streamed online, and everybody comes to watch. And H gets paid to do this. So H can afford to go hunt for the Easter egg, while Parzival can only study stuff from the 80s and hints towards the Easter egg, like the riddles and stuff. It's been a long time since the Easter egg has been announced before anybody finds the first key to the first gate. And that one person to find it is, you probably guessed it, spoiler I guess, Parzival. He figures it out one day while he's at school, and he manages to go and he manages to find a way to get to the room where the key is held and go through a trial to get the key. Now I should bring up somebody else. This person's name is Artemis. Artemis is basically a blogger that Parzival has followed since the beginning of the Easter egg. She always posts online about her findings and things that she thinks the first clue might be related to. Even though he's pretty sure it's a lie, but he likes her writing and he likes the way she looks. Now, funny thing is, she happens to find the area to get to the key before he does, but she is unable to obtain it, while he on his first try obtains it. And they end up kind of having this rivalry, or this mutual rivalry towards each other, because his getting the key brings out her competition and she ends up getting it next. And then from this point on, the whole world blows up because the key hasn't been found, and people were sure that it was fake, that it never existed, that Halliday was just crazy. But now the hunt is on again, and everybody has to kind of race to find the gate, and then the next key, and then the gate, and then the next key, and the last gate. This book is full of so many references to anything 80s and some stuff that's even above. The character James D. Halliday is pretty much the Steve Jobs of our time. And I don't remember what the guy's name is, but the guy that Steve Jobs worked with, something Wozniak or something. He also has an equivalent, and that's Ogden Morrow. And they're two friends that grew up with each other in high school, and they used to play D&D together, and they used to play games together all the time. And that's what led them to create their first games, and then eventually the Oasis. And the story goes into Halliday's life more, and Parzival's life, and everybody's life. There's also song references, movie references, TV show references. Anything that you can think of will be in this book. Like, just make a list of 80s stuff, read this book, and cross out everything that comes up, and I can almost guarantee that everything will be crossed out. It's full of so much stuff. And that gets into the second part of this review, which is my kind of worry for the movie that's coming out pretty soon. Movie is coming out sometime this year, or next year, or the year after. And it's being made by Steven Spielberg. Now, I trust Steven Spielberg enough with this book to adapt it to the movie. And I know that, of course, the movie won't be as nearly detailed as the book, but hopefully it can be good in its own way. The only problem that I have is there are so many references to other things, other licensed things in this book that other companies own. The company that is producing this movie might not be able to get these licenses, and therefore might not be able to create some huge moments in the book, some really like climactic or just action-y moments. And that kind of sucks. I'm really hoping that they can get to borrow the rights of these IPs, to use them in the movie. You know, I want just every single, well, I want most of the references from the book to be in the movie. And not even most, like half would be amazing because there are so many. Anyway, I could not stress this book enough, guys. I read it probably over a month ago and I'm still hyped over it because it's that good. There'll be a link in the description to an Amazon page where you can go and grab the book for yourself. Me personally, I listen to books while I'm on my iPod at work, so I use iTunes audiobooks for that. You could also use Audible or something else. I'm pretty sure the book is also on Kindle if you have that or some other e-reading device. I could not recommend this book enough. It's amazing. If you like action, if you like 80s, if you like nostalgia for a time that you weren't even alive or a time that I wasn't even alive, but I still know most of these references, go pick up this book. It's got everything that I just mentioned and more. And that's all I have to say about it. See ya.